Hi guys, happy Tuesday. This is coming to you a little bit later in the day, and I'm trying to find a way to get light that's not too dark, and then also you're going to be treated to my very sweetie doe giving a backgammon lesson in the other room, so you'll probably be able to hear everything. Anyways, hi, happy Tuesday. Like usual, I'm here to give tips on social media marketing and content and strategies. And so something I've been researching a lot for one of my coaching clients is about marketing on social media for introverts. And the more that I've researched this, I've actually realized that um, I'm an ambivert. I'm not fully extrovert. I'm not fully introvert, um, and I have a lot of introvert tendencies. I didn't realize this until I really started researching it. So, if you guys have ever done like a Myers-Briggs test, I go between two variations, INFJ and ENFJ, and it depends on the day and the variation of the test. And the I and the E is what changes, the introvert and the extrovert, because I'm pretty balanced. Um, but in my business, I found I have a very healthy dose of introverts. So, for example, if I interact with a bunch of people, have a bunch of comments, have to reply to a bunch of emails, it wears out my energy. And I have learned, rather than feeling ashamed that I like don't answer faster, that I don't have more energy from that stuff, I've learned how to plan my business and marketing accordingly. Um, so one element, at least for me, maybe there's other introvert entrepreneurs out there who are different. I'm not someone who gets riled up by words like empire builder, badass CEO, SheEO, 50K months. Um, those kinds of words don't resonate for me. That doesn't mean I don't want my business to succeed. I want my business to grow. I want my business to make more money. I want my business to make a lot of money because I want to make a lot of difference. But those words like empire builder and things like that, it doesn't quite resonate with me. And that's okay. It doesn't mean I don't want my business to be successful. I love making a difference for other entrepreneurs through my business, but I've realized that I need to do it a little bit differently. So, for example, my first coach, the reason why I'm using this example, she's amazing. She breaks down walls, she's fearless, and isn't the same as me. That's part of why I signed up with her. But she's an empire builder. That's who she is. And I realized this is not how I view my business. But I also realize, especially now, that it's okay. And there's more than one way to succeed in business. And if you are someone that skews more introverted, there are ways to succeed where you don't want to kill yourself from social media messaging. And these are things that I've learned over time and that I've been researching more about recently. So, for example, um, a lot of emails wear me out. Social media interaction can wear me out. It drains me if I go overboard. So here's 6 tips that I came across through having a very introverted side to my business, and also from research and reading I've done recently. Okay, so 6 tips. Start with number 1, right? Makes sense. All right, number 1. Socrates says, "Know thyself." To know thyself is the beginning of wisdom. So if you're someone who's more introverted, who gets worn out by a lot of interactions, even on social media, let's be real, is social interaction. Um, you're gonna have to accept that you're more introverted. It's not a bad thing. So know yourself, know that you're introverted, and know that there's ways for you to succeed. The path to it is different than an extroverted person, but you will still succeed just as much, and you may even be better at certain things. Um, it's going to take some trial and error to figure out what's too much for you as an introverted entrepreneur. But do you remember like the raptors in Jurassic Park? They told that story about how they kept testing different parts of the electric fence looking for weaknesses. If you're consistent, you will figure out what works for you and what doesn't. There is a kind of trial and error process, but it is a process that works. You'll figure out um, what's too stressful, what's too draining, what your sweet spot is, and then you can build your business around that. And another part of knowing thyself that's very important, especially for the days you're worn out, you have a lot of phone calls or emails, get really clear on knowing why you're doing this. So something that you'll hear other people talk about is the perfect day exercise. And so the short version is, if you Google it, you'll find it. Basically, you want to take all five of your senses, touch, smell, seeing, hearing, taste, and you want to visualize and sense the best day, the work you're doing, the car you're driving, the house you're in, the place you're living, the vacations you go on. You want to make it very clear what you're heading towards, because that'll help you push through the bad days. But if you really want to get into like a deeper why, and if you're introverted, you like to observe, you like to research. That's very much a part of me. The whole journalism part of me. I love to research. I love really getting into the deep whys in the books and things like that. If you have that part of you, try out Simon Sinek's book, Simon. His last name is Sinek, Sinek. Look for his book, Find Your Why. I've only gone through bits and pieces of it, in part because it's an in-depth process to help you get really clear on your why. Why are you doing this? So just to be clear, it is a process. It takes at least a full day, and it does take one other person to help you go through it. But if this is something you feel like you're lacking, there's a tool for you. Go get the book Find Your Why by Simon Sinek. It'll help you get there. So that's one thing. Know who you are. And two, like I said, you don't have to be an extrovert. So number two is use your introvert toolbox. Baby, if you weren't born an extrovert, that's okay. You don't have to become one to succeed, and you don't need the tools they've got. They've got their toolbox, you've got yours. And there are great tools in an introvert toolbox. And it's something it took me a while to really appreciate and see. I feel like some introvert tools are harder to see the benefits of. But I do want to give an example. So one thing that introverts are better at, they're much better listeners. Guess what? This is a great tool for selling your services, for connecting with your audience, and really honing in on what your potential clients really want. So this is something I use all the time in my content, with my clients on calls, in posts, the services I offer. I listen. That's an introvert thing. So for example, people who get extroverted salesmen, guess what a common complaint is? They didn't listen to what I needed. This person is so busy being gregarious and winsome that they don't listen to what the person needs. It's very important when you're talking to a potential client or a current client that you're listening to what they need, that you're not just being a blowhard and telling a really good story, but you're listening to what they need and then responding to it. And as an introvert, you have that tool innately. So for example, I have people who will come to me and they're like, I think I need a blog series. But then as we talk through it and I figure out, okay, where are you at in your business? What are you trying to achieve? And I actively listen to where they are. Guess what? This introvert strength helps me to not only help them be heard, which is something really important to clients. Someone who came to me, with like looking to hire me for blogs, I'm like, well, it sounds like blogs aren't going to solve the problem that you're here to solve. I think that you need to have more social media presence. So here's my suggestions for that. Sometimes I even refer people who come to me to other professionals, because it's just like, I understand what you need and I'm not going to be able to give it to you. I don't want them to feel frustrated. So they're much happier getting a good referral for someone else. This is what I mean. Extroverts may not have that tool, but you do. And it's such an important tool in order to sell well. Sorry. Ooh, down the wrong throat. And then also, guess what? Sales is about building relationships over time. You're not just spraying and praying and having single conversations with 1,000 people. To have an effective sales, to have effective sales growth, to have those relationships, you have to build over time. That's something else that introverts are great at. They don't like the whole getting started with new people thing. But the beautiful thing is, as you start nurturing those relationships over time, you can focus on the quality over the quantity. And that's what you want. You don't want, for example, you don't need a Facebook group of 10,000 people. That doesn't matter if no one's engaged, especially. You want to have a smaller group of people. You want fans. You want engaged people. And if you're making deeper connections as an introvert, that's what you're good at, awesome. That will lead to success. That will lead to your business doing well. And guess what? I looked this up in research. It shows that when it comes to sales, introverted and extroverted salesmen, they're on the same level as far as success statistically. They use different tools, the different strengths in their personalities, and get to the same place. Extroverts don't have a leg up on them in sales, so keep that in mind. I like the way this article said it. Introverts can be really highly effective influencers when they stop trying to act like extroverts and really build on the strengths they have inherently, like listening, observing, researching, and meaningful connections. Introverted entrepreneurs can be just as effective at sales as extroverts if they know how to use their strengths. So if you're an introverted entrepreneur, don't try to use the same techniques as extroverts. And I love that. I feel like it sums it up so much better than I'm doing right now, and that's fine. Um, Lean into who you are. You don't have to be extroverted to succeed, so look at how you can use your introverted strengths to succeed, right? So that's two. Lean into your introvert toolbox. Number three, this was a really important one for me. I have a story number three, for you introverts who are trying to market on social media and getting super overwhelmed, turn off your freaking notifications. Turn them off. Turn them off. Turn them off. Turn them off. Turn them off on your Facebook. Turn them off on your Messenger. Turn them off on your Twitter. Turn them off on your email. Get rid of it. Turn off the notifications. Schedule it. I'll talk to you about that in a second. Turn off your notifications. I heard this before I did it and I thought it was crazy. It made me anxious. It felt like, well, what if I miss something and don't reply to it in 5 minutes? You don't need to reply in 5 minutes. It's normal for someone to take an hour or even a day to reply. It's okay. Your business won't fail, and guess what? You will do better for it. So for example, in my life, this was really hard for me to do. I hated turning off my notifications. I felt like it didn't feel good for me. But I also knew that having the notifications go off all the time wasn't good for me either. It was not good for me. So the only messenger platforms I actually have that still send me notifications are one, Voxer. That's what I use to have internal communications with my team. And two, my WhatsApp number, because that's how I talk to Ido and my family. Otherwise, my business stuff, I don't want notifications. I don't. I schedule that time when I'm ready for it, and then I get back to it. Again, I resisted turning off notifications for a long time, and I had to do it like one platform at a time. I'm like, okay, I'll start with Facebook. Okay, now I'll turn off email. Oh, now I'll turn off Facebook Messenger, and it was really hard. It was really hard. My business is not burned down. In fact, I probably have more energy. I do my work better, and I'm more focused. Those notifications kill your productivity. Do any research, any reading about productivity, and like those notifications, they kill it. So if you need to have focused work, this really helps you too. Turn off your notifications. Schedule your time checking your email. Schedule your time checking your social media. So I'll get to that now. So number 3 was turn off your notifications. I promise it'll be okay. Nothing will burn down. Number 4, schedule your social media time. Now for me, this also includes my emails, my communications with my clients. And in my calls, I also limit that too. I only allow calls, like I use Calendly to schedule things. It helps with the time zone thing, but in general, I only permit calls on my schedule at certain times and days of the week. Like Wednesday, I do not accept calls on Wednesday because I need that day to just focus on other things in my business. I have that scheduled and set aside. Other days of the week, when someone schedules a call, I am fully on board, but I need that day to not talk to anybody, and that's okay. I am better at my job for it. Same with like my emails. I only check my emails X number of times a day at certain times. Same with social media. I have it put away. I focus on stuff that I need to, and then I come back to it when like I finish a chunk of time on a product. Again, this is really important for being more effective, lower stress. So let me clarify a couple of things. First, when I say scheduling, I have it set up on my calendar, and something I had to work through. It's like when I say scheduling, it's just like, okay, I can only do from 9 o'clock until 10 o'clock in the morning, and then after that, it's it. Okay, guess what? Sometimes my morning hour becomes an afternoon hour, and sometimes my morning hour becomes an hour and a half later in the day. It flexes, it changes. But here's the thing, a bad plan is better than no plan. This helps me get my head in line. I don't panic about not having notifications because I know that I'm going to have time to check it. I know that that's built into my day. And maybe if something else ran long or I got extra messages, I still have time to take care of things. So that's one thing. When I say scheduling, it means you plan to have that block of time. Try and protect it, try and keep to it. But if you don't keep to it perfectly, it's okay. A bad plan is better than no plan. So try it. And another thing that I do, this is more important for me because I have weird time zone stuff and things like that. But like, for example, like in my email signatures, if someone's corresponding with me, I have a note in the signature of my email saying, because the weekend is different here, so we're Friday, Saturday instead of Saturday, Sunday. In the time zone, it may take me 24 to 48 1 to 2 business days to get back to you, depending on when I get the email. I've seen other people do something in their email signature where it's like I only check my email X number of times a day to stay focused. And then I have automatic responders, like on my Facebook page messenger. I make sure it's an autoresponder, letting them know, like, I may not be able to get back to you right away, but I want them to know that I received the message. That helps lower my stress level too when it comes to not being always in my social media. I leave messages helping set expectations for them. I tell them this is when I'm available and I will get back to you, and that's okay. Again, honestly, one of my fears when I first started my business is like, who's going to want to work with me when I'm on the other side of the world schedule-wise? It didn't matter. It didn't matter. We found times where I could work with them, and it didn't matter. My business has grown and been healthy. It hasn't been about that limited availability. It wasn't a big deal. It really wasn't. So, number 4, schedule your communication and social media time. I'm trying to remember what the quote was. There's a book that talked about it where it's just like, don't let your interruptions run your schedule your interruptions. So I don't want those notifications to run my day. I want to choose when I get to it, and that's okay, and it saves me so much stress and energy. So here's another thing. Number 5, know how much energy and time a task takes you and stop worrying about shoulds. Okay, let me give you an example from my life and from my work. So as introverts, or those with introverted tendencies in your business, you probably have a little bit less energy to work with. So after you answer a couple of emails, you're just like, okay, I can't handle this anymore. Or it takes you longer to give an answer to someone who sends you a message. Know how much energy and how long a task takes you. It's just who you are. You can improve it, but if it's part of who you are as a person, try to find a way to embrace it and work around it too. So again, as an introverted person, the strengths I listed earlier, you're someone who's observant. You like to research questions. You like to analyze. This is more who you are. So this is definitely part of who I am. So for example, when I started doing social media marketing, I was trying to get like a reference point. Like, how long should it take me to friend people and follow up with people and have a sales pipeline and have the sales calls and things like that. And for some people, it works for them to do it in 1 hour a day, 60 minutes. And I could not get that marker. I wanted to. I really wanted to. And I felt like a failure when I didn't. I'm like, I'm spending too much time and being too much of a perfectionist. And it just drove me crazy. I felt like I was doing something wrong. So I have a caveat for that, but let me just keep going down that road for now. So I felt like a failure that I wasn't keeping to this 1 hour, that I always did more. But as I've done more research, I got a better understanding just recently, like, this is part of who I am. So I was trying to work with I've been doing coaching with Rebecca, and she and I have been trying to figure out like helping me schedule, messages and stuff like that. And she's like, well, what about a 15-minute slot, at this time of day? And I actually laughed out loud because I'm like, I could answer maybe one message then. Because who I am as a researcher, as a thoughtful person, it takes me longer to reply to emails because I'm thoughtful and I'm thorough. It's who I am, but it's also why people work with me. So 15 minutes doesn't work for someone like me, but I accept that. This is part of who I am. But that also means I need to schedule it in a different way. So I have to shift my schedule accordingly to deal with that part of me. Now, don't get me wrong. This is the caveat. The caveat is I did have mindset issues also around this. I did have perfectionism issues. I would spend, like way too much time on an email, like an hour on an email that only required, even if I was thoughtful, maybe 20 or 30 minutes. I had perfection issues in the beginning, but I did work on improving that. It's just like, okay, so there is an evaluation process. Again, if you're an introvert, you're good at this self-evaluation, right? So try and look at it. Try and see if you can pull those elements apart. It's like, what is just my strength as an introvert, and what is something I can work on to maybe improve this? It's okay to have both. It's okay to have two sides to the same coin. So really analyze that. If something is taking you longer or you do it differently than you feel like you should, lean into it, figure it out. You can probably make it a little bit better, but also look into how maybe that's something that makes you really good at what you do. Another way that I've helped solve this is because I know I take longer and I'm so thoughtful, some of my lower level and introductory communications, now that I'm able to hire, like my wonderful VA team, they help me with some of that because I get so thoughtful with every single person, and not everything needs to be that way. So I get help. I have my team help me with those communications, which is wonderful to be in that place. But you get what I'm saying. Another thing that has also helped me tremendously, templates. Let's say that you write a thoughtful email to someone who's thinking of signing up with you, and you realize, oh, okay, with some tweaks, I could do this for someone else. So instead of taking another 45 minutes to the next client that comes in, save it as a template. You can do it in your Gmail, if that's what you have. I know a lot of people do. Save it as a template and then pull it up next time someone asks something similar. It's all preloaded. I do this sometimes, like I have lists of services for people who are just asking general questions, things of that nature. Use templates. Use that thoughtfulness and repurpose it. Again, good content can be repurposed. So when you write those thoughtful replies, keep using it. So know how much energy and time it takes. You can try and improve it, but also lean into how it's strong. Don't worry about what you should be doing. I know it's really hard in the beginning when you're trying to figure out your shoulds, your references, your measurements. And then it takes a while to feel like you can trust yourself and trust your judgment. And it's true, it's part of the process. But you can probably trust your judgment more than you can think, for what it's worth. And also because everyone's a little different. So, and then number 6, this is kind of goofy, but think of like the Disney song from the Jungle Book, the bare necessities, the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Okay, now it's in your head now. So that came up because I want you to remember it, because yes, as introverts, we have to manage our energy, but we also have to make sure that we're hitting the core needs of marketing. There are certain things you just can't get away from. You can modify it to be better for your energy, for your time, things of that nature, but you will still need to do some basics, okay? And I was thinking a lot about this week, what that would look like. So I think the 3 main things I would say are the basics. 1, continually connecting and helping with new people as a basic. So how are you meeting new people? Are you friending them on Facebook? Are you connecting with them on LinkedIn? Are you following them on Instagram? How are you connecting with new people and helping them, right? Number 2, are you tracking your conversations and following up? Again, treat sales like relationship building. Treat this process like quality over quantity. How are you following up with those people to get those deeper conversations? Again, there are different ways to do this. Some have email series. Some send follow, some will have like a social media presence. Some will have DM conversations, things of that nature. Are you tracking your conversations? And another basic that you can find variations to accomplish but still need to do is you always need to find a way to tell your business story, your business benefits, and do it visibly and repeatedly. Again, it may be on social media, it may be on a podcast, but you have to tell your business story. I want you to remember and keep in mind that unless you've hired someone to market your business for you, you're your marketer. There are ways to get creative in how you do it and protect your energy through scheduling or trying different tactics, but you are your marketer, okay? But you can do it very successfully as an introvert. lean into your strengths, figure out what you can do. Just today I was talking to someone who is terrified of Facebook Lives, of video, having her face. So we were thinking of other ways. To help promote her, help her be consistent, help her show up, help her help people. Liz, these are great. Thank you. I'm a total introvert. Oh, good. I'm glad, Liz. I'm glad it's helping. But you still have to tell your story, but you may have to find a different way that's more comfortable for you, and that's okay. That's okay. So maintain those basics. Continually connecting and helping new people, tracking your conversations and following up, and then telling your business story and benefits visibly and repeatedly. And then guess what? If you keep those core things in line, then do it your own damn way. So just as an example, again, I skew towards introvert in some parts of my business. I started with a coach. She was very much like empire builder, trailblazer, and I loved her for it. She challenged me and put me outside of my comfort zone, but I also knew that wasn't quite who I was. So one of the strategies she taught me is she suggested that I do a Facebook Live every single day. And for some people that works great. And for a while I was trying it. But what I ended up doing instead, how I was able to show up, to be visible, to modify this need to keep showing up, telling my story, connecting with new people, those basics I just told you about. Instead of doing a week, a live every day of the week, doing shorter daily lives, here's what I did. Remember, introverts like to research. So instead of one short live, I do these long weekly lives. I research the heck out of these things. I do one long live a week, and then I rounded it out for a while. I haven't done it recently because I have a really good flow with my clients right now. But I would round it out by sharing helpful links, helpful articles, sometimes blogs back in the day. It's been a while. But that's what I mean. I found a way to show up that worked for me and my energy. And guess what? It worked. This is what she suggested to me. That is a way that does work. But I found a way to modify it for myself that also works. So once again, I do want to put the caveat there that if you are resisting trying something, make sure you do a self-evaluation. You may have a mindset issue that you can improve on, or maybe you should stretch yourself to do something instead of adapt. It's hard to judge at first which one you are, but in time you'll be able to figure out like, okay, I'm resisting this because it's uncomfortable, or I tried to make this better and it just isn't fitting for me. Do you know what I mean? So for example, at first I resisted Facebook Lives entirely. I didn't want to do them at all. But that was more of a mindset issue for me. I was dealing with imposter syndrome and it was a new thing and I was uncomfortable. So I was pushed and encouraged to do it for about a week. Like, just show up every day and put your face in the dang camera and see what happens. I got pushed out of my comfort zone. I tried it and I realized it wasn't as bad as I thought. So when you're trying to figure out what is like in that category, kind of treat it like food. So with me, I will eat anything once. So try it like that. If it's possible, try anything once. And if it was awful, horrible, the most devastating, traumatic thing ever, of course, don't do it. But if it's like just a little outside the comfort zone, it's a little bit of a push, maybe treat it like some new food. And just try it once. See how it goes. Because it may end up being not as bad as you think, and you may end up finding a way to adapt it for how you are. For example, I didn't keep doing it every day of the week. I do it one day a week. So those are my tips. I also have a book suggestion for you guys if you want it. This is something I've been reading this week. I really like it. It's called The Introvert Entrepreneur by Beth Buelow. Beth and then Buelow. It's great. It's so good. Look up especially the chapter, But I'm Not a Salesperson. So again, The Introvert Entrepreneur by Beth Buelow. Look up the chapter, But I'm Not a Salesperson. It's so good about dealing with problems like trying to pick a niche, identifying your ideal client, using your introvert strengths and selling yourself. It's really, really good. It's well done. So just to sum up, the 6 tips again are: know yourself, use your introvert toolbox. Don't think you have to be an extrovert. Number 3, turn off your notifications. Do it. 4, schedule your social media and communication time. 5, know how much energy and how long a task takes you. Stop worrying about shoulds. And number 6, maintain the bare necessities, like Baloo from the Jungle Book, but then find a way to perform those necessities your own damn way. It's fine. All right, that's what I got. You guys know how to find me. You guys know I have the content membership. If you need social media posts for your bookkeeping business, you guys know that I do content strategy coaching. I actually had a new person sign up last week, which I'm super excited about. So let me know if you'd like to sign up for my 90-day program. I'd love to help you one-on-one, because that's who I am. I'm an introvert. I love the one-on-one, the quality stuff. Anyways, that's what I got for today. I hope it helps, and I will talk to you guys later, okay? Bye.